Hey guys, Zero here. Sorry for the poor lighting. I'm actually at my folks' place, cat sitting Nico, because they're away on a trip. But I wanted to do a little video just to talk about my thoughts. Because today being May 3rd, I know it's not May the 4th, but May the 4th be with you. I went and I saw the 25th anniversary showing of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. As many of you might know, I actually saw the movie when it came out in theaters 25 years ago. I was 10, so it was a long time ago, but um so this was like the first time seeing it in theaters again. I missed the 3D release, which I actually did want to go see, but I just didn't have the time at the time to go see it. But I have some thoughts, and so this isn't going to be like a real review, like of Phantom Menace. Like the long and short of it is I loved it when I was a kid. I still love it now. It's still, I think, probably like my third or fourth favorite Star Wars movie. It's pretty high up there. I know a lot of people don't like Phantom Menace, but its perception of it has changed over the years. It's still a very well put together film. I still think it's paced very well. And again, people will probably disagree with me in the comments, but that's not anything new. Last Jedi is my second favorite Star Wars movie, so this wouldn't be anything new. But I decided to go watch it because I was like, there's something about the theater experience, and I actually had the theater to myself. This was the first showing in my area of it. It's showing all weekend, but it was the first showing. It was like 4 o'clock on Friday, May the 3rd, which Fridays are half days for me at work, so that's how I was able to catch it. And so that was fun getting to see it by myself. Having a theater by myself, that was kind of cool. I guess it does sound kind of lonely to say it that way, but I also saw like Evil Dead Rise that way with like a completely empty theater. But you know what? There's something about getting the theater to yourself that is interesting and special. So what I want to say is this was the more modern release of Phantom Menace. It has CG Yoda. It has different touch-ups. I don't know. See, Phantom Menace was the last Star Wars movie shot on film until Force Awakens. So I don't know if there's just something weird with the conversion, but there's little things I noticed. Like, for example, headshots and close-ups, look great. They look fantastic. I don't know if this was a 4K release or what. I don't know. It was definitely higher quality than what I'm used to seeing, because I usually watch the DVD. So it looked fantastic. The parts that probably didn't look the best were the darker scenes, like the night scene with Darth Maul in the desert was kind of hard to look at. Coruscant stuff, night stuff looked fine because there was so much light in those. Gotta say, some of the background plates that like I never like sat and looked at for a long amount of time, like transitional pieces on Coruscant, looked gorgeous on a big screen like that, and probably 4K. It's probably 4K. I don't know what it is, but whatever the most recent release is. I haven't watched it on Disney Plus, so I'm not sure if that's the copy that is there. But anyways, like it looked gorgeous. There was a couple of things. I found that a lot of the CG elements held up when they were in frame, when they were in focus. But if they were like in the background or their characters were down tiny on the screen, it looked fuzzy. And I think that's just a product of its time. This movie was originally shot on film before they switched to doing all digital, and all the effects are digital, obviously. Most of them anyways, not all of them, because they still use models and stuff like that, but a lot of the effects are digital, which digital on film is it's a weird look. It's a weird feeling. So I think that's just a byproduct of trying to upscale digital effects that were meant for a lower quality. Like, just for example, I think the cameras that were used to shoot episodes 2 and 3 were like they're like 4K cameras, like years before 4K was a thing. So those movies cannot be upscaled any further. But because this is film, unless they used a digital version, then that would explain some things. I know they don't use film projectors anymore. I'm not stupid like that, but I definitely knew it was digital. But I mean, like the transfer from, if it was from film, excuse me, or if it was from a digital image. I don't actually know what the original transfer to get this upscale was. But yeah, I just noticed things like background, like characters, if they weren't in the foreground, like if they're in the background, or if it was far zoomed out of a shot, like they're some tiny in the shot, it looked fuzzy. And I only noticed that because I'm so familiar with this film and the effects and stuff. So there was little things I'd never noticed before. Like there were people talking in the background in one of the shots with Obi-Wan's talking to Qui-gon. There's little music and audio stuff I'd never noticed. And I think that's because I don't have surround sound at home, and my folks have surround sound. And even when I used to watch the movie with surround sound at their place, it didn't really do much for me. Again, I've been watching my same DVD version I've had of it for years, so I don't have a Blu-ray copy. So maybe it was just me not noticing things, but just little things I noticed watching it on such a big screen, and also hearing the audio, like little things that I'd never noticed before. So it was, in a way, a new experience because, yes, I saw this film when it came out 25 years ago in the theater, but I was a kid. Memories of that time are hard to catch on to. I can't even hard to think of stuff from 10 years ago that I did. Like I sometimes discover videos, I'm like, wow, this was like 10, 15 years ago that I made this video, you know what I mean? So that could even happen with this. I could come back to this later and be like, this movie, like this video is ancient. But the point that I'm making is I'm happy that I went to see it. There's a part of me that was like, do I really want to go see this movie? I'm so familiar with it. I've seen it a million times, but there's nothing like going to see a film in the theater. There's nothing really that matches that experience. And I think that taking a film that I'm so familiar with and one that I've enjoyed so much and seeing it in the theater is definitely an experience that I don't regret. I was glad that I went and saw it. I took the time to see it. Even though I've seen the movie dozens of times and I know what to expect, it was still great to see it in the theater. There's something that is said about seeing a movie in a theater. Now, last year, it was the anniversary for Reservoir Dogs, and I'd never seen Reservoir Dogs, so I went and saw it because it had one showing in the theater for its anniversary in my area, and it was fantastic to watch that. Again, it was I think I practically had the theater to myself. There's only a few people. It seems like reshowings of films don't sell super well, but I mean, I guess it's well enough that they keep doing it. But yeah, the first time seeing Reservoir Dogs was last year, and I watched it in the theater with, I think there might have been a few people in there. I can't remember, but it was a similar experience. Like, and this was a film I'd never seen. This is one I just heard of. So, and I think earlier that year I'd seen, or maybe the year before, my roommate, introduced me to Pulp Fiction, which I now have on Blu-ray, which has tons of extra features and stuff that like, is so great. And I'm glad that some of these things still exist. So what I would say is if I can't catch myself saying, like, I would say, like, if you're a fan of the prequels or Phantom Menace, or even if you're just a Star Wars fan, it might be worth it to see. Excuse me, might be worth it to see this film on the big screen. I don't particularly think that people who dislike the movie are going to get a different experience, but it might be worth doing it because this kind of stuff doesn't happen as often anymore. I mean, it is becoming more common that movies are going back to theaters for anniversaries and stuff like that. Apparently the Transformers, like the 80s Transformers animated movie, is coming back to theaters at some point, and I have never seen that one on a big screen, so I'd like to see that. I was born after that came out, I'm pretty sure, as I was born in 88, and I think that movie came out in like 85, 86. I can't remember. It's been a while. But no, if movies are going to come back to theaters, I'm going to try my best to try to see a lot of the ones that I missed out on. or just ones that I want to see again. Like if they, in a couple of years, if they do the 25th anniversary re-release of Attack of the Clones, even though Attack of the Clones is my least favorite Star Wars film, I would go see it in the theaters again in a heartbeat just to experience that film in the theater again. That was one of my first date movies, ironically. What a shitty date movie. But yeah. Anyways, you know, you'll know if you're going to want to go see this. And so, you know, my recommendation is it's worth seeing in the theater still. It still holds up after 25 years. The pacing, I paid attention a lot more this time watching. I think the last few viewings I was doing something while I was watching it, but I paid attention a lot more, obviously, because it was in the theater. And I gotta say, like the movie still holds up. It still flows exactly the way that I expect it to, and it's still a really tight film. I know a lot of people like to criticize it, but it's still a really tightly done film, and so I think it's worth seeing. But again, you'll know for sure if you're going to see it or not based on, you know, how you feel about it. But yeah, I recommend going to see it. No real review for this because it's not really a review of the film. It's more of my experience. But I just wanted to share this and get this out here and see if anybody else is going to check this over the weekend. So anyways, guys, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye.